This is Professor of Medicine, Desiree Dubonnet, the man who left America to find freedom. He's no longer a man. Today I'm going to be outlining something very, very powerful, a new form of medicine. Very, very exciting. New form of medicine, intention medicine. All medicine is intention. Those who are proficient in using intention will be good doctors. So now let's look at some more evidence of the placebo effect and how we can utilize it in many different ways to help our bodies, help our minds, help our lives, help our families.
Your brain on placebo power. It's a mysterious force deep inside all of us that can actually make physical changes in our body and brain without drugs, surgery, or anything more than a strong suggestion. Find out how to access this force. Now we'll see how the same placebo effect can help alleviate pain. You are looking at one of the bravest graduate students ever. Either Kate is selflessly devoted to science, or she desperately needs an A. She volunteered to be burned without a painkiller.
What we're going to do now is test your pain sensitivity on different parts of the skin.
Her professor, Tor Wager, a Columbia University psychologist, is placing a metal plate, heated to 110 degrees, on her forearm.
So here's the first one. It hurts. I think it's like holding a hot cup of coffee. It's a very hot cup of coffee that you want to let go of, but you can't put it down just yet.
It's a very uncomfortable experiment designed to figure out exactly how placebos work. Dr. Wager's theory is that the power of suggestion actually produces a physical change in the brain, and that is why placebos are able to mimic the effects of real medicines, or make people feel drunk on fake beer.
Some of the most convincing placebo effects have been demonstrated in people's reported pain. So that's a natural place to start looking for the effects of expectations and beliefs on physiological systems. Pain can be precisely quantified. We can very carefully titrate the input, the stimulation levels, and we can observe meaningful and reliable relationships with the outcome. So it gives us something very quantitative to study.
Professor Wager's plan was to study the region of the brain that senses pain. If a placebo did affect the workings of the brain, he thought the pain centers would be the ideal place to document any changes.
This is the frontal cortex up here. And here, these are some of the key pain processing regions in the sensory cortex.
A magnetic scanner would record the inner workings of Kate's brain in pain.
You can just lie back here and get comfortable.
The more intense the pain, the more brain activity would be recorded. Professor Wager turned up the pain while the scanner recorded images of Kate's brain.
Okay, Kate, you're done with the first part?
But that is not the end of Kate's ordeal. Professor Wager is planning on another burning session, but this time he's mercifully applying a painkiller.
You can just hold your arm up.
At least that's what Kate thinks is happening. In fact, it's a placebo, just plain baby lotion with no analgesic properties at all.
We tell them that the drug that they're going to get is a powerful pain reliever, and it will block their pain. So it's really our verbal instructions to you that tell you that you should expect pain relief on this site that's been treated with this effective drug.
Professor Wager burns Kate at the exact same searing temperature as before, and there is nothing protecting her forearm other than a dab of baby lotion. Yet according to the brain scans, there is considerably less brain activity in the pain centers now than before. That means Kate actually felt less pain, a lot less.
One of the surprising things is that we found decreases in some of the pain processing regions of the brain with the placebo. Okay, now we're ready for the next one.
What this means is the brain's ability to recognize pain actually is a strong yet flexible force that can physically respond to a placebo by changing the way the neurons fire.
In 1996, 56 volunteers took part in a study to test a new painkiller called trivaricaine. On each subject, one index finger was covered in the new painkiller, while the other remained untouched. Then, both were squeezed in painful clamps. The subjects reported that the treated finger hurt less than the untreated one. This shouldn't be surprising, except trivaricaine wasn't actually a painkiller, just a fake concoction with no pain-easing properties at all. What made the students so sure this dummy drug had worked? The answer lies in the placebo effect, an unexplained phenomenon wherein drugs, treatments, and therapies that aren't supposed to have an effect and are often fake miraculously make people feel better. Doctors have used the term placebo since the 1700s, when they realized the power of fake drugs to improve people's symptoms. These were administered when proper drugs weren't available, or if someone imagined they were ill. In fact, the word placebo means "I shall please" in Latin, hinting at a history of placating troubled patients. Placebos had to mimic the real treatments in order to be convincing, so they took the form of sugar pills, water-filled injections, and even sham surgeries. Soon, doctors realized that duping people in this way had another use: in clinical trials. By the 1950s, researchers were using placebos as a standard tool to test new treatments. To evaluate a new drug, for instance, half the patients in a trial might receive the real pill. The other half would get a placebo that looked the same. Since patients wouldn't know whether they'd received the real thing or a dud, the results wouldn't be biased, researchers believed. Then, if the new drug showed a significant benefit compared to the placebo, it was proved effective. Nowadays, it's less common to use placebos this way because of ethical concerns. If it's possible to compare a new drug against an older version or another existing drug, that's preferable to simply giving someone no treatment at all, especially if they have a serious ailment. In these cases, placebos are often used as a control to fine-tune the trial so that the effects of the new versus the old or alternative drug can be precisely compared. But of course, we know that placebos exert their own influence too. Thanks to the placebo effect, patients have experienced relief from a range of ailments, including heart problems, asthma, and severe pain, even though all they'd received was a fake drug or sham surgery. We're still trying to understand how. Some believe that instead of being real, the placebo effect is merely confused with other factors, like patients trying to please doctors by falsely reporting improvements. On the other hand, researchers think that if a person believes a fake treatment is real, their expectations of recovery actually do trigger physiological factors that improve their symptoms. Placebos seem to be capable of causing measurable change in blood pressure, heart rate, and the release of pain-reducing chemicals like endorphins. That explains why subjects in pain studies often say placebos ease their discomfort. Placebos may even reduce levels of stress hormones like adrenaline, which can slow the harmful effects of an ailment. So shouldn't we celebrate the placebo's bizarre benefits? Not necessarily. If somebody believes a fake treatment has cured them, they may miss out on drugs or therapies that are proven to work. Plus, the positive effects may fade over time, and often do. Placebos also cloud clinical results, making scientists even more motivated to discover how they wield such power over us. Despite everything we know about the human body, there are still some strange and enduring mysteries, like the placebo effect. So what other undiscovered marvels might we contain? It's easy to investigate the world around us and forget that one of its most fascinating subjects lies right behind our eyes.